Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today I'm going to show you how to stop your rotator cuff pain. And the reason that most people have this shoulder pain is because they have tight muscles from doing some repetitive work type activity, like mousing or typing or something like that. And if you're doing too much of any one particular thing, then you're going to continue to get these problems. And so I recommend that people do different types of activities using different muscles, or maybe just not work so much in the first place. But now that you've got this pain, let's get right to it and figure out how to release it. And before you do any exercises for your rotator cuff, I recommend that you do self-massage first. And the reason for that is because the muscles need to be released from the inside out before you start stretching them from the outside in. That's so that you don't damage your tendons. Does that make sense? Anybody that's like watching some of these other videos from these physical therapists, if they're not teaching you how to do self-massage and work those muscles from the inside out first, then they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? So I'm going to show you these exercises, get going on them, and then we'll talk about the actual physical exercises later. But first we're going to do the massage exercises. Okay, so it's very likely that you have a tight deltoid muscle. And there are several bands of muscle in the deltoid that can get tight. And what you want to do is get yourself a bowl with some oil. I really like the unrefined safflower oil. You can also use coconut oil, but maybe olive oil. But take some of that oil and put it on your deltoid muscle here. Delta means triangle, and the deltoid muscle is largely a triangle that comes to a point right here. And it's very likely that you have some knots right in there. That is just the worst problem for the rotator cuff, to have knots in various muscles, especially right in there. If you focus and feel with the fingertips right deeply in there, it's very likely that you'll feel a bunch of knots, hard tissue. And when you get knots, it makes this deltoid muscle really tight because the knots shorten the muscle. And then that's going to cause that tension on the tendons. Okay, so what you do is you get yourself into a position that releases the muscle. That's why I'm in this position here, this child's pose, as they call it in yoga. When you splay the arm out like that, it makes the muscle relax and get soft. That way you can get in there with the fingertips. This is key. So then, stick your thumb in your armpit, like so, and then squeeze. More pain, more gain. See how deep that's getting? Deep, deep. Release. Okay, so release all this and then get down here and feel for those knots. Feel for where those knots are. I've got a few in there. It's from working on the computer all the time. And when you get slumped over shoulders, it makes all of these muscles tighter. So you want to have good posture. Now, I sell this really awesome back support for your office chair or your car seat. I'm going to put a link for it right there. It's all natural. It's made out of organic material and buckwheat hulls so that you can adjust the amount of support in the cushion for your own bottom. Okay, so release the deltoid muscle. That's the first thing. Okay, so now I'm going to work on these levator scapula supraspinatus muscles here. Get some oil on there, and you can really do some good work by pinching that, okay? So really get a hold of it like that and pinch it, and it'll probably be really sore. Feel for where it's, you can also push like that with your fingertips to feel for where it's sore. Get a really good hold on it there, and then stretch your head out away from your shoulder like that to lengthen it. Get a hold of it, stretch it. Get a hold of it really good, stretch it, and pinch right where it hurts the most. The more pain, the more gain. And the longer this is going to keep from getting painful while you're working. So you can get going with it faster and really get in there. Pop it. This is called popping. When you do this cross fiber friction popping, that's what hurts the most, and that's what gives you the most gain, because you're more painful. Okay, so now I'm going to assume this position with my elbow on my knee, my hand on my forehead. This allows my teres muscles to release. Now this is another pinching area, and if you put some oil on there and you stick your thumb in your armpit, then you can use this to really good leverage to pinch these teres muscles. And you can feel for where they're tight. You can also move a little bit so that you can get some stretching. This is kind of like stretching clay muscles. So if you feel a really tight band right like there, deep, then get in there and really pinch it. Take some bigger strokes. Adjust your thumb to different places. Farther towards the elbow a little bit. Back that way. This is the teres major and minor muscles that we're working on. Work down here more. Okay, next. Okay, now I'm going to take this Theracane that you can buy on the internet, and I'm going to put that on my infraspinatus area. Infraspinatus means below the spine of the scapula. The spine of the scapula is here. That bony prominence sticking out right there. And just below that, infraspinatus, is the infraspinatus muscle. And it can have trigger points, tight muscles, knots, and it's usually very sore right there. And if you take this Theracane and kind of joggle it like that, it'll probably hurt like a son of a bitch. That means that it's really going to give you pain relief later, because it's releasing the muscle now. If you do all these massage exercises before you do the actual physical exercises of stretching, it's going to be a lot better. It's much better to release these muscles from the inside out, from the belly of the muscle, before you start putting a lot of pressure on the tendons by moving your appendages. Okay. Now, while you're at it, you can take this and work on your rhomboids. and some of this other muscle infrastructure around your spine. Just feel around inside the scapula for tight muscles like that one right there. Hope you can see that, because I can't see you, but I think we're all right. You can come over the top like this. Pop, 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 pop it back and forth to release it. Feel up here. Pop, 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 pop. In here. Pop, 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 pop. You like my sound effects? Come up here. Oh, aye, aye. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay, come up here. Ow. Shit. It's okay to swear. In my book, it's okay to swear. So if it hurts, go ahead and just cut some of that loose. Ugh. Now, once again, you can move your body while you're holding a trigger point, a knot. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the pec major and minor. So put some oil right here on your chest and start feeling for where there are knots and tension. Now underneath them are your intercostal muscles. Inter, in between, costal, referring to your ribs. Okay, so if you take your fingers at about that wide or so, then you can work on a whole bunch of those at once. I'm tight right here. That's an indicator that I'm going to have pain in my rotator cuff area. Anywhere there's tightness in any of these muscles, any of these, then you're going to have pain in your shoulder. You can kind of go back and forth on these. Work on one, work on another. Put my elbow on there, like I did with the teres, to release the tension on the pecs as well. Pinch. This is the third pinch in place. Pinch that. Stretch. So you can grab a whole big old handful of tissue there and stretch. Get in here closer to the pec. Stretch. Now, the arm muscles are also causing, tension. If these are tight, they're causing tension on these. So let's work on the biceps here as well, and the rest of the arm muscles. Now these are your tools, your arms, and they're being manipulated by your shoulder muscles, etc. And you have to take care of these muscles regularly if you expect them to function for you. Now the problem is that people don't know, because they were never taught by anyone. Their parents never told them that they needed to massage their muscles. Their teachers in school never told them that they needed to massage their muscles. Their medical doctors and their physical therapists and their chiropractors also never told them that they needed to massage their muscles. Okay, so it's about time that somebody did. That's my job. So I've lubricated my arm, and I massaged down at a few strokes, and now I'm pulling my fingers to release pent up tension and energy. You can go like that and release some of that pent up energy that you're stripping down your arms. Okay? Now back here is the tricep muscle. Now there are also the Chinese meridians going down your arm. The heart meridians, the large intestine meridians. So those are all getting stimulated to release tension and pent up blocked energy. If you get tired with one arm, switch to the other one for a minute. You can also work on your hands. And you can spend as much time with this. I have to do my own camera work here. You can spend as much time with this as you want to, and the more time that you spend working on all of these muscles, then the more they're going to be relaxed and released and less painful. Now let's do a couple of exercises. I'm not an expert on the exercise aspect of doing this, but I'll show you some that I do generally for stretching those muscles. Okay, if you sit somewhere where you can put your hands behind your back, now that you've released your muscles by doing massage on them, they should be able to go like this and really stretch your chest forward and your shoulders back. Really stretch. Stretch those muscles and hold that for, a minute or 5 minutes, however long feels the most comfortable for you. Okay, so now take your hand and put it behind your back like this. And then hold your elbow with your opposite hand and stretch. You can lean to one side, to the opposite side, to get more stretch. You can pull the elbow back to get more stretch. Don't allow the shoulder area to go forward too much. Keep it back and just hold that for a minute or two. Then do the opposite side. Okay? Now, take a hold of the shoulder behind the tricep and pull it over like that. And hold that for a few minutes. After you're done doing that, do this shoulder rotation exercise. And whenever you're doing these exercises, if you feel that it's tight in an area that you've worked before but it's still tight, just stop and work on that some more. This is key. This is how you can tell if it's still tight. When you're doing these movement exercises and you feel the tension, that's when you know and where you know it's tight. The reason I just told you that is because I could feel that it was tight right there. And I know to stop and work on that some more. Okay, go the other way if you want. Okay, so I want to thank you for joining me, and please subscribe. If you are not all grooving with the natural, then maybe don't subscribe, because that's what I'm all about. I'm not your typical licensed anything. I used to be a licensed massage therapist, and now I'm not connected to the government in any way, shape, or form. I'm just teaching people the truth about how to heal themselves by natural means. No drugs, no nothing synthetic that costs a lot of money, that somebody wants to cut you open and drain your bank account. So thanks for joining me. Be well.